The story of the universe. 11.3 billion years ago. 11.2 billion years ago. 11.3 billion years ago, the universe was in its young days, approximately 2.5 billion years after its birth. The intense heat of the Big Bang had gradually cooled, but the universe was still a violent and dynamic place. The density of the early universe was much higher than it is today, and gravity constantly pulled matter together, beginning to form colossal structures. The primary components of the universe at this time were hydrogen and helium. These simple elements, created shortly after the Big Bang, were evenly distributed throughout space. However, due to the action of gravity, regions with higher density gradually began to form. These denser regions attracted surrounding matter and grew larger and larger, eventually becoming the seeds of the first galaxies. During the 100 million years from 11.3 billion to 11.2 billion years ago, these early galaxies grew actively. They absorbed surrounding gas and dust, relentlessly creating stars. Newly born, hot stars emitted powerful radiation, ionizing the surrounding gas. This played a crucial role in shaping the appearance of the early universe. Early galaxies often had irregular shapes, unlike the spiral galaxies we see today. They also grew larger by colliding and merging with each other. Supermassive black holes began to take their place at the centers of galaxies. And some of these black holes actively absorbed surrounding matter, growing into active galactic nuclei, AGN, that emitted powerful energy. At this time, the influence of dark energy on the universe was not yet significant. The expansion of the universe was mainly driven by the initial energy of the Big Bang, and gravity played a vital role in gathering matter to form large-scale structures. However, as time passed, the influence of dark energy gradually began to increase, becoming a factor that would change the rate of the universe's expansion. The universe 11.2 billion years ago was a dynamic space filled with much bluer and hotter stars than today. The active star formation in early galaxies and the collisions and mergers of galaxies were important processes that changed the chemical composition of the universe and released heavier elements into space. It is through these processes that the various elements we know today came to exist in the universe. During this short period of 100 million years, the universe moved beyond its initial stages and entered a significant transition period where galaxies began to take on distinct forms. The universe 11.2 billion years later would have more complex and diverse structures, moving one step closer to the universe we observe today. The story of the universe. 11.2 billion years ago. 11.1 billion years ago. 11.2 billion years ago, the early universe was gradually entering a stabilization phase after an era of intense star formation. Approximately 2.6 billion years after the Big Bang, numerous early galaxies had already formed and were located throughout the universe. Although less active than in the previous era, they were still steadily creating stars. And interactions between galaxies were also occurring frequently. Galaxies at this time began to have more distinct structures. Some began to take on disk shapes, and the faint outlines of spiral arms started to appear. Supermassive black holes at the centers of galaxies were still growing by absorbing surrounding matter. And some active galactic nuclei, AGN, emitted powerful jets, affecting their surrounding environment. During the 100 million years from 11.2 billion to 11.1 billion years ago, the mergers and interactions of galaxies were a crucial driving force in the evolution of the universe. Smaller galaxies merged to form larger ones, and collisions between galaxies promoted new star formation or changed the shapes of galaxies. Through these processes, the diverse shapes and sizes of galaxies we see today began to form. On a cosmic scale, the influence of dark matter was becoming increasingly important. Although dark matter does not interact with light, it played a role in helping galaxies and galaxy clusters form by attracting ordinary matter through gravity. Galaxies gathered within the vast gravitational potential wells of dark matter, and larger-scale cosmic structures slowly began to emerge. The expansion of the universe at this time had slowed somewhat compared to the past, but the presence of dark energy was gradually becoming apparent. Although the attractive force of gravity still dominated, dark energy would become the primary factor accelerating the expansion of the universe as time went on. The universe 11.1 billion years ago was a significant period, moving away from the chaos of the early universe. with galaxies becoming more mature and the outlines of large-scale cosmic structures beginning to appear. The rate of star formation gradually decreased, but the stars that had already formed continued to shine for a long time, carrying on the history of the universe. The interactions of galaxies and the influence of dark matter acted as important factors that would determine how the universe would evolve in the future. During this 100 million years, the universe transformed into a more orderly space with complex structures. The universe 11.1 billion years later would have more diverse galaxies and a vast cosmic web, moving closer to the appearance of the universe we observe today. The story of the universe, 11.1 billion years ago, 11.0 billion years ago. 11.1 billion years ago, the era of active growth of early galaxies was somewhat, and the universe was entering a more stable stage of evolution. Approximately 2.7 billion years after the Big Bang, a significant number of large galaxies had already formed, and they continued to grow by absorbing or merging with smaller galaxies around them. The shapes of galaxies at this time became more diverse. Galaxies with distinct spiral, already grown to a considerable size, often found at the centers of galaxy clusters. Although intense star formation like in the previous era did not occur within galaxies, a steady cycle of new stars being born and old stars reaching the end of their lives continued. During the 100 million years from 11.1 billion to 11.0 billion years ago, larger-scale cosmic structures such as galaxy clusters and galaxy groups gradually became more distinct. Due to the gravitational influence of dark matter, numerous galaxies gathered together, and they became gravitationally bound, forming a single giant system. These galaxy clusters and groups became the fundamental building blocks of the large-scale structure of the universe. Supermassive black holes at the centers of galaxies continued to grow. They exerted a powerful gravitational pull by absorbing surrounding gas and stars. And some active galactic nuclei, AGN, still shone brightly, emitting energy into space. Their activity influenced the environment around galaxies and played an important role in the evolutionary process of galaxies. The expansion of the universe began to accelerate slightly as the influence of dark energy gradually increased. The residual heat from the Big Bang, which had driven the early expansion of the universe, had faded, and a balance began to form between the tendency for matter to gather, due to gravitational attraction, and the expansion force due to dark energy. The universe 11.0 billion years ago was a significant period, moving past the turbulent early universe, with galaxies becoming more mature and large-scale cosmic structures forming. Although the overall rate of star formation decreased, the stars that had already formed provided light that illuminated the history of the universe for a long time. The interactions of galaxies and the role of dark matter continued to make the universe a more complex and diverse place. During this 100 million years, the universe transformed into a more organized space with large-scale structures. The universe 11.0 billion years later would be closer to the appearance of the universe we observe today, with the basic framework of the large-scale cosmic structure completed and the diverse forms of galaxies becoming more distinct. The story of the universe, 11.0 billion years ago, 10.9 billion years ago. 11.0 billion years ago, the outlines of the vast cosmic web began to emerge clearly in the universe. Due to the gravitational pull of dark matter, galaxies were distributed along enormous filaments, and massive galaxy clusters began to take their place at the intersections of these filaments. The space between these vast structures was relatively empty and was called voids. Galaxies at this time evolved into more mature forms. Spiral galaxies developed distinct spiral arm structures, and blue nebulae, active star-forming regions, were distributed along the spiral arms. Elliptical galaxies mostly consisted of old, red stars, giving them a reddish color, and active star formation no longer occurred in them. Galaxy mergers still occurred, but their frequency decreased compared to the earlier era. During the 100 million years from 11.0 billion to 10.9 billion years ago, dynamic interactions between galaxies actively occurred within galaxy clusters. Galaxies influenced each other's gravity, changing their orbits or even colliding and merging into a single larger galaxy. This process significantly affected the evolution of galaxy clusters and the changes in the shapes of galaxies. Supermassive black holes at the centers of galaxies steadily grew by absorbing surrounding matter. Some active galactic nuclei, AGN, still emitted powerful energy, shooting out jets into space, which affected the galaxy and galaxy cluster environment in various ways, such as heating surrounding gas or suppressing star formation. The expansion of the universe tended to accelerate further as the influence of dark energy gradually became dominant. Gravitational attraction still played a crucial role in the formation of local structures, but on a cosmic scale. The repulsive effect of dark energy grew stronger, causing the distances between galaxies to increase more rapidly. The universe 10.9 billion years ago was a period when the large-scale structure of the cosmic web became more distinct, and the shapes and characteristics of galaxies diversified. The active dynamic interactions within galaxy clusters and groups were an important driving force in the evolution of the universe. The increasing influence of dark energy foreshadowed a future where the universe would undergo accelerated expansion. During this 100 million years, the universe underwent a significant stage where the basic framework of the large-scale cosmic structure we observe today was completed, and the diverse appearances of galaxies became more distinct. The universe 10.9 billion years later would be even more vast, with galaxies farther apart and under the dominant influence of dark energy.